Hello my dear grade 8 students. So today we are starting a fresh new lesson. So in the earlier lessons we discussed about electricity, we discussed about sound and some chemical reactions and chemical substances and physical reactions under the changes in matter. So we haven't learned about a thing which relate with our biology. So within this lesson, my dear children, right, within our 9th lesson, we'll be discussing about the human anatomy. Especially here we are discussing about several organ systems that can be observed in the human body, right? So if you take the human body, you know that human body consists of different types of systems, right? So if you take humans are multicellular organisms. So we are created by cells, and collection of several cells forms a tissue. Then after that an organ, then several organs create a system. So within this lesson we'll be discussing about those systems, organs and different systems. So my dear children, let's see what are the contents in our 9th lesson, human organ systems, right? So if you take human organ system, first of all we'll be mainly discussing about human excretory system and excretory products. What is this excretory system? What are the main components in excretory system? And what are the things which are referred as excretory products? So like that we will be discussing several things related to excretory system and about the excretory products and the way of expelling them from our body. So I'm not going to explain what do you mean by the excretion process right now. When I'm going to carry on with our lesson, you will get a sound knowledge when I'm explaining the things contained under the excretion and the excretory products. So the first and foremost thing is human excretory system and the excretory products. Second one, under the second main topic, we'll be discussing about human nervous system. So you know that if you take the nervous system, right, almost all the areas in our body has nerves in order to carry out our impulses, right, and the commands given by the brain in order to capture the sensors and to carry out those sensors to our brain to process. Our entire body is covered up with nerves, right? So these nerves helps us in getting information or sensory information from the environment, plus in order to give out a certain response to a certain sensory information that we are going to take from the environment. We have to communicate, or our organs are going to communicate with the brain, right? So that communication process mainly carried out through the nerves. So it's like this. This is my arm. Now I need to raise my arm like this. This is my arm, right? So I need to raise my arm like this. So in order to raise my arm like that, my brain is going to give out a certain signal. We refer these things as impulses, right? So my brain is giving out an impulse to my muscles in the arm, right? It's like a command, a signal. So my brain is giving out a signal to my arm, and brain is commanding raise the arm. So by that way I can raise my arm. And that's how this nervous system works, right? The signals sending from brain to the arm is sent through the nerves, right? So let's imagine the opposite way around. Let's imagine that there is a fire going around here. So when I'm going to keep my arm like this near the fire, I can feel or I can sense the heat energy, the temperature. So our skin is going to capture the impulses, and the skin is going to send those impulses to the nerves. After that, the nerves are getting connected with our brain, and the nerves are the ones which helps to distribute or transport these impulses to our brain. So like that, we will be discussing about several things related to the nerve system. I just gave you a simple description, a simple idea about the nervous system, how it is going to work, and we'll be discussing several things related with our nervous system when I'm going to discuss that part under the organ system lesson. Right. So the next one would be the human skin. So finally, we'll be discussing about the functions and the special components and what are the ways to keep our organ systems healthy. So these are the main topics that we are going to discuss within this lesson, right? So within this lesson, we'll be discussing about these parts. Mainly here we are discussing about the organs and the systems, and my dear children, their functions. Right. So let's move on with the lesson, and we'll identify first of all about the excretory system and the excretory products. Right then. So first of all, we'll be discussing about the human excretory system and the excretory products. So first of all, you are given with a point. The biological processes that take place within the cells produce different products that are useful to the body as well as useless to the body. As an example, let us consider the respiration reaction. So in respiration, glucose react with oxygen to produce energy, carbon dioxide and water. Right, my dear children. Now, I'm going to take the slide somewhat up. Okay. So, right. So, if you get this respiration process, respiration is a special process that occurs within our body. Since in grade 6 you know that respiration is the process that is going to produce energy within our body. So by burning simple food like glucose, how do we get glucose? By the food that we are going to eat in our day-to-day life, right? Each and every food item, normally each and every food item contains some amount of glucose. So when we are going to eat those substances, finally within our digestion process, these substances are getting converted into glucose and added to the blood. So within blood, you know that oxygen is getting transported. So by the burning process, by a combustion, you know that oxygen is compulsory for the burning of any kind of a thing, right? Our body is like an engine. Simply, it's like an engine, right? We can consider our body as an engine. So you know that engines are powered up by fuels, right? To power up a car engine, we use petrol and we burn petrol by using oxygen. So in the same way, if we consider our body as an engine, the fuel that we use to power up our body engine are food, right? Mainly, actually, when we eat food, these things are getting degraded into simpler nutrients like glucose, proteins, lipids and etc. right? You know that there are several nutritional substances, but mainly within our body, these are the three main substances which helps to produce energy. So these are the ones which are considered as fuel, right? Proteins, lipids and glucose, or these things are referred as carbohydrates in simple. So by burning these things with the oxygen, we can produce energy within our body. So it's a type of an engine, right? It's a type of an engine. Thing is, my dear children, the burning process, right? If you take this burning process of glucose or any other nutrient like lipids or proteins, this burning process is occurring within our cells, right? So it's in miniature level, okay? It's in miniature level which we can't observe, right? So within our cells, the glucose is getting burned down with the help of oxygen to produce necessary energy for the survival of the cell, right? So this process is referred as the respiration. So by using a word equation, I can write the process of respiration like this. Okay, I can write this process of respiration like this. So what are the things that we utilize or that we put as reactants in this process? You know, the reactants are the ones in a chemical reaction or the substances which we put initially into a chemical reaction, right? So those are the ones which are going to react or interact to produce new substances. So in the earlier case, you could see that by burning food or when eating food, food is reacted with oxygen. Food is reacted with oxygen to produce energy, carbon dioxide and water, right? Water vapor. So we'll write down. Once again, I can show it to you here. See. So as an example, let us consider the respiration reaction. So when you take the respiration reaction, glucose react with oxygen and produce energy. Glucose is a simple food. Plus, during the production of energy, if you take energy is our main product. This is the main product which we need for our body during the respiration. Plus, there are byproducts which are getting created within this process. One thing is carbon dioxide and the other one is water, carbon dioxide and water vapor. That's why within our exhale air, there is carbon dioxide and water vapor, right? If you take our exhale air, so if you take our exhale air, in exhale air, there is carbon dioxide and water vapor. Even in previous grades, we studied about these things, right? So these are the reactants. What are the reactants? If you take the reactants in this chemical reaction or the biological reaction that happen in our body, these things are called as biological processes or biological reactions. So if you take this biological reaction, biological process which referred as the respiration, the reactants that we are putting inside to the system or that we are going to insert into our system, the initial reactants are, see here, one is glucose and the other one is oxygen. These are the reactants. So my dear children, what are the products created during this process? Products are energy, carbon dioxide and water. So these are the products. So I can write the respiration process by using a word equation like this. So if you are going to write down the word equation for the process of respiration, it's like this. Glucose or simple food. Glucose is reacted with oxygen gas. Glucose is reacted with oxygen gas. Glucose, here actually we are burning glucose with oxygen gas. Not us, but actually us is also correct. But however, you know that this reaction is going to occur within our cells. Okay, I told you that earlier. Within our cells, this reaction is going to occur. So when you go into next grades, right, you will get to know that in our cells there are special structures which are called as mitochondria. These mitochondria are the ones, or within the mitochondrions you can observe these respiratory reactions. Okay, within mitochondria you can observe these respiratory reactions. So you will be learning those things when you go into next grades. So how, my dear children, let's write down our products created during this reaction. So the main product the body need is energy. This is the main product which is given out. Okay, this is the main product. Other than the production of energy, you know that there are two other substances which are getting created. One is carbon dioxide. One is carbon dioxide. One is carbon dioxide gas. And the other one is, children, water vapor. Water vapor. So you can observe that these are the products created during the process of respiration. So the main product that we utilize from this reaction is the energy which is getting produced from the combustion of the simple food like glucose. Then what happens for these ones? These substances are not necessary for our body. These substances, carbon dioxide gas and water vapor, are not necessary for our body. Within this reaction, the main product that we need is the energy getting produced by the combustion of glucose. However, apart from that energy, there are two other substances which is getting created, which is getting generated from this reaction. So these substances are not needed for our body. So therefore, they should be expelled from our body. If we don't need any substance, then we have to remove it from our body. So you know that as exhale air, these two substances are going to expel from our body. So my dear children, if you take the process respiration, there is a main product which is getting utilized by our body. And there are two byproducts. These are referred as byproducts. Right? Byproducts. Byproducts means secondary products. Right? Secondary products. Byproducts. So if you take byproducts, right? Byproducts of the respiration process is carbon dioxide gas and water vapor. So these things are getting expelled or removed from our body. So my dear children, during the chemical reaction that occurs within our body, or during a biological reaction, biological process, during a biological process means a special process that occurs within our cells. Okay, a special chemical reaction, a chemical change that occurs within our cells. It's really important that's going to occur within our cells, okay? So special type of biological reactions, chemical reactions that occur within our cells are called as biological processes or biological reactions. So within these biological reactions or during these biological reactions, some byproducts are getting produced apart from the main product. Byproducts means the secondary products, useless ones. These substances are referred as excretory products. These substances are the ones which are referred as excretory products. So my dear children, excretory products are very simple. During a biological reaction, biological process within an organism, biological process means any kind of a chemical reaction, any kind of a chemical change that's going to occur within the cells of an organism. So during those processes, several byproducts are getting created apart from the main product. Main product is utilized by our body while the byproducts are getting expelled from our body. So these byproducts created during the process of during the process of respiration, or in here, right, here it is respiration, but there are several chemical reactions that's going to occur within our body. So if you take those chemical reactions, each and every chemical reaction is going to release some amount of byproducts. So these byproducts created during the chemical reactions that occur within our cells or during the biological processes, these byproducts are referred as excretory materials, right? These byproducts are referred as excretory materials or excretory substances, right? So my dear children, the excretory substances are the ones or the byproducts created during biological reactions of an organism or biological processes of an organism, right? So these are the ones which are referred as excretory substances. These are the ones which are referred as excretory substances, right? So excretory substances are the ones which in here, carbon dioxide gas and water vapor. In the process of respiration, the main two excretory products are carbon dioxide gas and water vapor. These are also referred as the byproducts of the chemical reaction, in simple, secondary products. So this is the definition for, right? This is the definition for excretory products. This is the definition for excretory products. So children, let's move on with the lesson part once again. So here, it's given as a point, energy is used for the biological processes in the body, but carbon dioxide and water may become harmful to cells when there is an excess amount. So if there are carbon dioxide gas and water vapor in excess amounts within our body, it would be harmful. It's because that those things are not necessary in plenty, no, right? Those things are getting created as the byproduct, no, as excretory products. So these should be removed from our body if they are in our body in larger extent or in larger amount. So excretory products are the products or the substances which is created within our body during a chemical reaction or biological process. Specialty here is that these products are not necessary for our body. Okay, So we'll write down our definition then for excretory products. So I'll take the slide somewhat up. I'm going to erase this thing then. Right, then let's write down our definition. Right then, so what are the excretory products, my dear children? Let's remind what do you mean by excretory products once again. So during a biological process that occur within our cells in the body, secondary products which are getting created, right, not the main product, secondary product, right, which are getting created are referred as excretory products. So we can write during biological reactions which occur within our cells in the body, secondary products, within brackets you can write it as byproducts, which created are excretory. I'll use a different color pen then. Excretory products. Excretory products, right? So this is the definition for excretory products. During biological reactions are the ones which are same as the biological processes, right? Biological processes or biological reactions, same thing. So during biological reactions which occur within our cells in the body, so usually these biological reactions are going to occur within the cells in our body, my dear children. Okay, so the biological processes that should occur within our cells, okay, these should occur within our cells. So biological reactions which occur within our cells in the body, right? Secondary products or byproducts which created are excretory products. I'll put a comma in here to separate the two sentences. So during biological reactions which occur within our cells in the body, secondary products or byproducts which created are excretory products. So these things are called as excretory products. These are the ones which are referred as excretory products. So I'll use the respiration process to give you more idea about the excretory products. So example, in respiration, glucose is getting reacted with oxygen gas to produce energy, carbon dioxide gas and water vapor. So this is the reaction for respiration that's going to occur within our cells in the body. So this energy which is getting created due to the respiration process is the main product. This is the main product. Okay, this is the main product. These two, right, carbon dioxide gas and water vapor, these two are the byproducts. Or else excretory products. Excretory products. So my dear children, this is the definition for excretory products. So I have given you an example example as well in here. So once again, during biological reactions which occur within our cells in the body, secondary products or byproducts which created are excretory products, right? These are the ones which are referred as excretory products. So example, in respiration, we know that glucose is getting reacted with oxygen gas to produce energy, which is the main product. Carbon dioxide gas and water vapor, those are the byproducts during this reaction or the excretory products. So this is the definition for excretory products, my dear children, right? So let's move on with the next thing to observe. What are our main excretory products, right? What are the main excretory products in our body? So if you take excretory products, these are the main excretory products that can be observed within our body. See, number one, the exhale air that we are going to expel during the process of respiration, exhale air, it contains carbon dioxide gas and water vapor mainly. So these two substances are excretory substances. So in the earlier part, I discussed that thing with you and I explained how it's going to happen. If you take the sweat which is coming out from our body, which is coming from our skin actually, it contains several excretory substances created during the chemical reactions within our body. So like urea, uric acid, water and salts. So all of these substances are getting created mainly within our cells. This urea and uric acid are the main nitrogenal waste. Nitrogenal waste means these things contain, or these substances, urea and uric acid contains nitrogen. So main nitrogenous excretory materials created within our body. Nitrogenous means it contains nitrogen. So main nitrogenous components or excretory materials created within our body are urea and uric acid. So these things are getting expelled from our body as sweat. Okay. Plus sweat also contains some other excretory substances. So others are water and different types of salts created during the biological processes within our body. So the second form of excretory substance is sweat. Sweat contains these excretory materials: urea, uric acid, water and salts. So next one is urine, right? So you know that we expel urine from our body. So urine contains several excretory substances like same as the sweat. All the components contained in sweat is also contained in urine, but in greater amounts. So here once again, in urine also urea, uric acid, water and salts are getting expelled. Okay, these substances are getting expelled from our body. Right. So my dear children, these are the main excretory substances and the form which they are going to expel from our body. Right. So carbon dioxide gas and water mainly from exhaled air. Sweat, right? Sweat is going to expel urea, uric acid, water and salts. Once again also urine is going to expel same substances as the sweat. Right then. So let's move on with the next slide to observe our other contents. Right then. Right. So once again you are given with the main excretory products. Okay. Main excretory products. So it's a blank given in here. So we'll write down our main excretory products. So my dear children, if you check the main excretory products, first of all there is carbon dioxide gas. Then water vapor. Right? These things are getting expelled as mainly from exhale air. Right? Number 1. Number 2. Urea, uric acid, water and salts. So these substances are getting expelled in 2 different forms, right? In 2 different forms these substances are getting removed from our body. First form is as sweat. First form is as sweat. As sweat, we are expelling these substances or these excretory products from our body. Then the second one is as urine. Right. So my dear children, these are the main excretory products created within our body. carbon dioxide gas, water vapor, urea, uric acid, water, salts, right? So these are the main excretory substances created within our body. And the way or the form which these things are getting expelled from the body. Okay. So you are given with the point once again. Excretory products can damage the cells when accumulated in excess amount. Some products may be toxic. Therefore, it is very important to remove the excretory products from the body. So in the earlier case also, we told that, right? And we observed that if more and more carbon dioxide and water vapor is getting collected within our cells, they're going to harm our cells. They're going to damage our cells. So we have to remove them, expel them. If you take these substances, especially like substances like urea and uric acid, these things are highly toxic, my dear children, right? Highly toxic. If these substances are getting created within our body in excess amounts, we won't be able to walk. We won't be able to move our muscles, right? Our legs will get swelled up and it would be difficult to even walk. It's because of their toxicity. Urea is a special kind of a fertilizer actually that we are going to put in different types of cultivation of crops. Like in nowadays in Sri Lanka also, you could observe, if you check the news, you can observe that this much of fertilizer is being imported. This much of fertilizer is being imported for our Sri Lanka. The main fertilizer which is getting imported is urea. If you check the news in these days, you can get a certain idea. Okay. So most of the fertilizer that we use in our day-to-day life is made up with urea. Especially for coconut cultivation, we add urea. That's a special case, right? But not only in coconut cultivation, we add urea in different types of cultivation for different types of crops. It's because that urea contains nitrogen, my dear children. So plants utilize this nitrogen to produce proteins, right? So urea is a toxic substance. The thing is that urea is a fertilizer, I told you that. So when you add to plants, it will grow. But what will happen if you add in excess amount, right? What will happen if you add like 1 kilogram of urea to a small bit of a plant? Definitely the plant will die because there is a certain amount of toxicity which is stored within urea also. It's a good fertilizer, we know that, but however, if more amount of urea is given or provided to the plant will die. These things are like medications or medicine. You know that if you take medicines can cure our diseases. But what will happen if you take those things in excess amounts? Definitely you will die. Definitely you will get different other types of complications, right? So these are like medications. Fertilizer is like a medication. If you're given with a certain amount means here actually, if you are given with the necessary amount, if the plant is given with the necessary amount of fertilizer, it will grow like a, right? It will grow very quickly, right? And it would be good for the plant. However, if you are going to give very large amount or excess amount of fertilizer to a plant, definitely the plant will die. So it's more like a medication. So the same process is being applied in here when you take urea and uric acid. If they are collected within our body in excess amounts, then our body will be, right, our body definitely will, right, it will not function well, and due to the toxicity of these substances, it won't be easy to carry out our day-to-day activities also. Right, so here you are given with a point. The process that removes the excretory products from the body is known as excretion. Right? So this is the process. Excretion is the process which the removal of byproducts or which the removal of excretory products happen in our body. You know that there are different excretory products which are getting created within our body. So these things should be expelled from our body. So that expelling process, terminating process is referred as excretion. So removal of waste materials or byproducts or excretory products created during the chemical reactions that occur within our cells in the body, right? And removal of these substances or expelling out of these substances is referred as the excretion. This is referred as the excretion. So once again, my dear children, the process that removes the excretory products from the body is called as or is known as excretion. This is the process which is called as excretion. Okay. So waste matter remaining after food has been digested is known as feces. Fecal materials, feces. Now you know that fecal materials are also getting expelled from our body through the anus, right? Through the anus, right? Excretory materials, right? Not the excretory materials, okay? Fecal materials. Fecal materials are getting expelled from our body. So my dear children, if you take these fecal substances, can we consider these fecal substances as an excretory product? That's the question which I am going to ask from you guys now. Right? You guys think whether it is an excretory product or not. Right? So let's see how these fecal materials are getting created from our body. Right? How does this fecal materials are going to create? So you know that I'm going to take this one somewhat up. So you know that there is stomach like this. Right? And you know that stomach, after the stomach is going to run through several intestines, small and large. So like that way, finally through the anus, right, these substances are getting removed. So I have drawn out those things only. Those are the ones which I need. Okay, so this is the stomach. And these are intestines, starting from here to the top. So here to the bottom. Intestine. Especially I'll mention this thing as small intestine. So after that there is like this. You know that it's going to run through like this, and there is large intestine which is coming to here, right? Okay, so I'm not going to draw that part. So this is the large intestine. And my dear children, this is the anus. right? So this is just a small bit of a figure to explain the process. Through anus, the waste substances are getting removed from the body. So children, let's take food. Let's take food. So these are food. Okay. So these are food within our body, especially in our stomach. So you know that food is coming to the stomach and they are getting passed through the stomach to intestines and then once again to the large intestine and once again out of the large intestine towards the anus and getting expelled as waste substances, right? Getting expelled as waste substances. So these are those waste substances, fecal matter, feces. Specialty here is that, my dear children, food in the stomach is going to transfer or it's going to travel through the intestines and getting removed from the body. During this transportation process or during this traveling process, all the necessary components or all important components within the food is getting absorbed by the small intestine. Okay, so when you go to like grade 11, you will get to know about the digestive system quite well. Okay, so you will be getting somewhat a good explanation rather than this. So here still we are in grade 8, no? So I'm just going to give you like the background only. Okay, not the deeper ones, but the contents which can be observed only on the background. So this is the simple process of food digestion. You eat food and they are going to travel through the intestine and finally it's going to come out to the large intestine. Within the large intestine, mainly water is getting absorbed. Within the small intestine, all the necessary nutrients contained in the food is getting absorbed, like carbohydrates, proteins and lipids, and all of these necessary substances are getting absorbed within the small intestine. Then after that, after changing into several components, these substances are getting transferred to the large intestine. Then after that, from the large intestine, water is getting absorbed from the food. You know that each and every food item contains water. How we can show that water is contained in food item? You just sample the food and heat it. Upon heating, you could observe that a vapor is going to come out. Hold a glass plate, then you can observe water vapor within it. You can even to get like to get more accurate observations, if you want, you can add anhydrous copper sulfate. So by that way you can get a very sound observation, because that anhydrous copper sulfate is going to turn into blue color. So by that way we can say that there is water contained within food. Each and every food item contains water, my dear children. So when you eat food, all the nutrients are getting absorbed by the small intestine, while the water contained is getting absorbed by the large intestine. So whatever the remainder, the residue, is referred as feces or fecal materials. So fecal materials are finally getting removed or expelled from our body. Specialty here is that, my dear children, these fecal materials are not getting created within our cells. Those things are not getting created within our cells, right? I have drawn you the structure. Can you see a cell here? These are not cells. These are different structures that contain within our body. These are different organs that contained within our body. It's just like a pathway, right? Just like a pathway. These food items are not getting inserted to our cells. It's just passing through the stomach. It's coming through the esophagus, going through the stomach, coming through the small intestine. All the necessary substances are getting then absorbed by the small intestine. Then finally, passing through the large intestine, water is getting absorbed. Then finally, it is getting expelled from the body as feces or fecal materials. So you can see that this is like transporting food from one end to another end, right? So you know that we eat food by our mouth. So from mouth, it's getting transport towards the anus until the elimination process, right? So these food items are not going to transport into our cells, not at all. It's just like a pathway. When I'm going to eat food, this food is going to travel through the esophagus towards the stomach. Then after the stomach, it's going to travel through the small intestine. Within the small intestine, all the necessary nutrients are getting absorbed to our body. In small intestine, there are different structures present in order to do this absorption process. Okay. So then after that, whatever the residue or the remainder is transported towards the large intestine. Then water is getting absorbed from the substances. Then finally, a semi-solid substance, a waste substance, right, which is referred as fecal materials are getting created. So my dear children, the whole process is happening not within the cells, but within this tube, starting from the tube line, right? It's a tube line starting from the mouth to the anus. It's a closed tube. So fecal materials cannot be considered as excretory substances. Remember that thing, because these things are not getting created from the biological reactions within the cells. Okay, within the cells. Right then, so I'm going to move on with the slide once again. So here you are given. So waste matter remaining after food has been digested is known as feces. As it is not produced by chemical reactions within the cells, see, within the cells. Within the cells in the digestive system, it is not considered as an excretory product. So it is not an excretory product because fecal materials are not getting produced within the cells, right? Those things are not getting produced within the cells. So fecal materials, my dear children, are not considered as excretory substances. Next one, there are organs and systems that are specialized to perform the function of excretion in human body. So there are different types of organs and systems which are being specified, which are being arranged in our body in order to do this expelling process, in order to do this excretion process. So there are different systems and different organs. So you are given with a table, right? You are given with a table about those organs and what are the excretory substances that those organs going to produce and the way of expelling these substances from our body. So let's see the table and observe what are the contents, right? Let's see the table and let's observe the contents. So first of all, the excretory organ, right? Excretory organ. Excretory organ means, my dear children, this is the organ, or this is the special one which is going to create those excretory substances. Means that these organs can remove excretory substances. These organs can filter out excretory substances from the blood in our body. Okay. You know that each and every substance is going to transport through blood, no? So these organs can filter out blood and it can expel excretory substances from the body. Actually, they are not getting expelled. We can collect, these organs can collect excretory substance in order to be expelled from the body. Right then, so here it's given the first excretory organ is the lungs, right? Lungs. So you know that lungs are going to produce carbon dioxide and water as the excretory products during the process of respiration. And the form which the excretory substances are getting expelled from the body is as exhaled air. As exhaled air, these substances or these excretory products are getting removed. Then the next one is given, see, the next one is given kidneys. My dear children, if you take kidneys, kidneys are the main organs that helps to excrete the nitrogenous waste which is contained within our body, like urea and uric acid, which are getting produced after the digestion process of proteins, right? After the digestion process of proteins is mainly getting expelled by kidneys. Kidneys are the ones who are going to filter out these nitrogenous waste. Kidneys are the main organs which helps to remove these nitrogenous waste from our body. So the main nitrogenous waste contained within our body are urea and uric acid. So urea and uric acid are getting expelled from the body mainly through urine. Mainly through urine. As sweat also some amount is getting expelled. But however, mainly these two substances are getting expelled through urine. So my dear children, kidneys are the ones which is going to process or which is going to filter out urea, uric acid, salts and water mainly in our body, and that form which these excretory substances are getting removed is referred as the urine. Okay. So the third one, skin. Okay. Skin is also going to process. Okay. Skin is also going to produce excretory substances, right, upon the filtration process. So here also, if you take skin is going to expel or it's going to produce it's going to collect very less amount of or trace amount of urea, uric and also uric acids and salts and water. Here little amount of urea. So I told you in the earlier case also, mainly urea is getting processed or filtered out by the kidneys and getting expelled from the body as the urine. So kidneys are the main organs which helps to process or deal with the nitrogenous excretory materials. Sweat is also a form, but however here less amount of urea and uric acids are getting removed. The main method is as urine. So by skin, little amount of urea and uric acid and salts and water are getting expelled from the body as sweat. So my dear children, there are different types of organs that is contained in our body which helps to process out these excretory materials and to remove them as by using a different form, right? So mainly if you take the organs which helps to remove these excretory substances are, number one, lungs. It's going to produce carbon dioxide. It's going to remove, expel or process carbon dioxide and water vapor during the process of respiration, and they are removing these things as exhaled air. Then the next one is kidneys. If you take kidneys, nitrogenous waste like urea and uric acid mainly getting expelled from the body by the process of kidneys, right? And also water and salts are also added as some excretory substances. So all of these substances are getting expelled as urine from our body through the process of kidneys. Then finally, from the process of or through the processes of skin, it's going to remove little amount of urea, uric acid, salts and water as a form of sweat. So this is the way of expelling different excretory substances from our body, right? And these are the special organs which helps to process these excretory substances in order to excrete. Okay, so I hope that you got a sound knowledge about the excretory substances, my dear children, right? I hope that you got a sound knowledge about excretory substances. Why does these fecal materials are not considered as excretory substances? So how does excretory substances are getting created, and what are the organs, special organs which helps to eliminate these excretory substances? So my dear children, within our next chapter, we'll discuss about further things related to removal of or how to remove these excretory substances. So we'll be mainly discussing about the urinary system within our next chapter. So I hope you to meet on the next chapter, the chapter 2, to discuss about mainly the new urinary system which contained in our body. So I'll meet you on the second chapter then.